dropping them sticks in the dog day heat. Cynthiana's best rolled up in my sleeve. Too behind to quit, too hot to eat. Have another beer in the high boy seat. It's been 3 weeks since we topped them spikes. Pinched off the suckers and sharpened our knives. Cutting dawn to dusk till these hands are brown. 10 cents a stalk to lay that burley down. And we break our backs for the ones that we love, and we work too hard, live too fast, burn through the summer like a shot from a glass. 13 months a year, that's where I'm found, in that tobacco town. In that tobacco town. Hang it in the barn till the shag's all cured. 4 tiers high, 20 stick wide. Strip off the stalks, reds, tips, and flines. This old haggard cassette still works just fine. And we break our backs for the ones that we love, and we work too hard, live too fast, burn through the summer like a shot from a glass. For 13 months a year, that's where I'm found. Yeah, we work too hard, live too fast, burn through the summer like a shot from a glass. For 13 months a year, that's where I'm found, in that tobacco town. In that tobacco town. Yeah, we work too hard, live too fast, burn through the summer like a shot from a glass. 13 months a year, that's where I'm found. Yeah, we work too hard, live too fast, burn through the summer like a shot from a glass. When I die, they'll lay me in the ground, in that tobacco town. In that tobacco town.
We are back, and you are listening to WLXU 93.9 FM on Lexington Community Radio. And let's welcome Matty Simpson to Overtones, everyone.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So I want to switch the microphone over here to Kevin, and I'd like you all kind of collaborated together, and you've been on stage together.
Yeah.
So talk about Matty's contribution to the musical world in Lexington, Kentucky.
Well, it's I don't know where to start or end with that, but what I will say is that once I've gotten around and I get to play with other songwriters, You know, first of all, I absolutely love everybody that writes and puts their own stuff out there. But every now and then you meet someone that just kind of hits home with you, and Matty is definitely one of those people with me. And I love the songs he writes. I love the way he plays, the way he sings, everything about it. I just really enjoy getting to hear him every chance I get, and hopefully trying to get him down to Somerset and do some stuff with me here before long.
Well, that would be wonderful.
That'd be
It
great.
sounds like we need to make a road trip if that happens,
That's
right,
right.
Whitney?
That's right.
So, Ray and Whitney, what do you have to say about Matty? He's taken the Twisted Cork stage.
I've had the pleasure to listen to Matty several times over at the Twisted Cork, and he's one of those songwriters that's found his voice, he's found his space, and he's very truthful with what he writes and what he sings, and that's why he goes over so well, because it's very real, it's very from the heart.
Amen.
Thank you.
So, we not only have 4 songwriters in the Round alums, but we have 4 Red Barn radio alums here as well on the show today.
It's crazy.
So, it's really neat to think about, isn't it? And how we're all intertwined together with music. So, Matty, how do you work in concert? Which means, what do you do for a living, and how do you tie that into your passion for music?
Well, I've always loved 2 things in my life, and that's I've loved music and I've loved ministry. So naturally, when I started playing music, I was trying to figure out how I was going to make those 2 things meld into one thing. Sometimes it's not always easy because being a minister who plays in bars, sometimes that is controversial, I guess.
Sure.
But I also think that there are far too many Christians who are not being honest. And that's not something that I want to be. I want to be really honest in my songwriting. And sometimes when I write songs about, somebody doing drugs, I get hassled a little bit from the church folk because they're like, why would you write about that? And I'm like, well, why wouldn't we write about that? Nobody's talking about it, so let's raise awareness for it. So luckily I get to do music at church and I get to do music on stage, and I try to make sure that it's as honest as possible.
Amen.
Amen to that, right?
Yes.
So thank you so much. So when you do your writing, how do the words and the music come to you? How do they reveal themselves to you?
I've always said I'm like my wife's an artist. She
sure is.
art major.
I think we can all agree with that.
And she's always told me that she's like, you're very representational in the way you write songs. Instead of painting it or drawing it, you were taking the sounds that you hear and the sounds and the sights of what's around you and putting it on paper and making a song out of it. So she always says when you sing a song, usually people can see exactly what you're talking about.
I agree with that.
So I think I just view myself as kind of a representational songwriter, if that's even a thing. That's how I would describe it.
I like when you were singing Tobacco Town, I could almost see that.
Oh, I can see it, yeah.
Had a perfect picture in my mind.
I write what I see, and I write, as songwriters, we hear a phrase that somebody says,
Sure.
And you go, oh my gosh, I'm going home to write that,
Yeah.
and there it is.
Well, I admire that so much in you, Matty.
Thanks.
And we are so glad to have you. What are you going to sing for us next?
I'm going to sing a kind of a difficult song for me. My dad passed away February 24th, 1994, and today is the 23rd. So this is kind of a difficult time for me, but I sat down one night and I wrote a song about all the things I could remember about my dad. After when you try to write a song about your dad after about 20 years, it's hard to sit down and think of those little details that you kind of fades out eventually. And I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to be able to remember these things forever. So I wrote a song about it. So I'm going to play a song called English Leather, and it's just about all the little things that I remember about my dad.
Thank you so much, Matty Simpson on Overtones.
My daddy was a simple man, a pack of Camels in a pocket t-shirt. Unless he's trying to quit, then it's Wrigley's instead. Well, I grew up just watching him work. How he treated people, man, he saw their worth. You never paid up front, no, a handshake be just fine. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, a left on tan, the mechanic's grip. He had Pontiac muscle and Cadillac class, worked too hard, drove too fast, he always had time to sing bass, the Good News Quartet. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, a left on tan, the mechanic's grip. He passed back in '94, oil on his hands and a worn out heart. To me he'd always be the king of Haviland Lane. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, a left on tan, the mechanic's grip. Gasoline in his veins, English leather on his skin, a left on tan, the mechanic's grip.
We will be back after the break.